Hi guys, so today's video is all about expanding a hold behavior that our dog has obtained from previous sessions. It's a nice little trick because what you've got essentially is taking the behavior of holding something in your mouth and then being able to manipulate it. So getting your dog to bring you something, getting your dog to do different behaviors while holding an object in their mouths. It's really a cute behavior, and it's quite simple and easy to teach how to move forward and to just expand on that existing behavior. So as with all of our training, we really want to start out with the simplest element of a task. So in this case, it would be picking something that your dog likes to hold quite easily. So don't start with a teaspoon per se, but start with like a paper towel holder or something like that. Just something for them easily to be able to get their mouth over and to just hold quite easily without causing any discomfort. And what you want to basically do is just get them comfortable with holding this object. Again, they've obviously mastered this trick previously as well, so we just want to remind them what exactly we're looking for. So be forthcoming with your treats, reward them really well as soon as they've done a good job, and essentially important to also only reward your dog once you've taken the object out of their mouths, as opposed to rewarding them after they've dropped it. Once they're happy knowing exactly what the task is, you can then start asking for slight different behaviors. So automatically our default in a lot of our training is that we get our dog to sit, we get them to lie down, we get them to stand. So these are all different positions that your dog can basically now hold an object in while they're maintaining that position. So start with something simple. Again, if you're asking them to do a stand from a down, for example, reward them immediately after they've transitioned up into that stand, because then the reward is coming for them actually doing that behavior, as opposed to holding on to an object for a longer time versus actually standing up on cue. So when you're working on expanding your hold repertoire, it's always really essential, as with all of our training, to remember the 3 Ds that are predominant in dog training, and that was basically working on distance, duration, and distraction. So for example, if you're practicing in this in your own yard and there isn't too much distraction, add a little bit of distance to it. You can see I'm doing it here with Charlie, where I'm simply setting him up further away. He's doing the hold position, and then I'm going to require him to bring the object to me. So essentially, he still has the idea of holding the object in his mouth. He's just adding the behavior of walking towards me. Because there is lower distraction, I'm feeling more comfortable to do this in a home setting. If we were doing this in a park per se and there were lots of squirrels running around, I would only require him to be a foot away from me, for example. I would also then make the duration a little bit shorter. So it's always important to be aware of those 3 things, how they work together, and really how you can go about manipulating your environment and your surroundings to try and make it easier, but in the same vein also more challenging for your dog. So where we're really pushing them to excel in certain things, we're creating an environment in which they are going to succeed in doing the more difficult tasks at hand. So as you can see here, I'm working on Ollie holding an object, but while she is in the sit pretty position. Now, as I mentioned before, you really do only want to reward your dog once you've removed the object out of their mouth and they haven't just simply dropped it. But because Ollie is quite a tenacious little character, a lot of the time she almost just wants to spit the object out. So even though it's coming out, if it's coming out and it's almost falling into my hand, I'm willing to rather just reward her for that, because getting her up in that sit pretty position is quite difficult. It does take a lot of core strength, so you really almost need to choose your battles. If there isn't a moment where you can see that your dog is gaining something from it, and you can see that the light has gone off and they know exactly what they're meant to be doing, but it's a little bit wobbly, that's absolutely fine. I would rather have you reward that than miss that opportunity to reward them. So once you've got your hold nicely expanded into different positions and with a different duration and with a different distance between you and your dog, you can move on to slightly more complex things like holding a blanket in their mouth and then rolling it around, getting them to hold something and doing a roll and keeping that object in the mouth. It really is up to you guys, so play around with it, have fun, and please remember to subscribe to our YouTube page. There will be lots more videos to come, and I hope you're enjoying your training.